Hey guys, what's up? How are you? Hope you all are well no matter what. By the way, today's story is being shared with us by Arian. So thank you so much, Arian, for sharing your story with us. And if any of you also want to share your story, you know my Gmail account. You can come there and share your story with me. And now let's start this video. So Arian is from Vasai, Maharashtra, and this story is from about 10 years ago. This is from the year 2012. And Arian mentions that he is still just as scared today as he was during that one particular year. Well, he doesn't tell these things to everyone because half the people either think it's an episode of Fear Files or Crime Patrol. But today, Arian is sharing these things with all of us, so I hope you all will like this story as much as I did. So Arian lived in a chawl since childhood. In that particular chawl, there were a total of 12 families living on just one floor, and the entire ground floor was completely occupied by the landlord, who had the whole space to themselves. The landlord was quite old, but he was also very nice and friendly. Everyone who lived in the chawl liked them a lot, and in return, everyone else in the chawl liked them a lot as well. So the landlord was living with his elderly wife, his 2 sons, his daughter-in-law, and his 3 grandchildren in the same house. And here, not everyone remained, but those who did lived like a family. They used to meet each other and have conversations. It never felt like they were different. It always felt like they were all part of my family. That's exactly how Arian felt, and his childhood spent living in the chawl was incredibly memorable and full of cherished moments, except for the last 2 years. In the last 2 years, something happened that Arian doesn't even want to remember the chawl. The entrance to the first and second rooms of the chawl differed. But through the entrance of the second floor, there was a room on the first floor that was the biggest in the chawl. Every room in the chawl had a kitchen, a hall, and a bathroom. Additionally, there were 3 common toilets located on the ground floor. Like in every chawl, there were public toilets that anyone could use. However, this larger area included a kitchen, a bedroom, a hall room, a bathroom, and even a separate toilet as well. This room had 4 windows in total, including one in the bedroom from where the balcony of a nearby bungalow was clearly visible. One window was next to the main door, and one window was in the hall. So this was the room, and it was quite big. Well, obviously, since it was a big room, the rent was also quite high. So most of the families living in the chawl didn't stay in this room. So this room remained empty. And now the year 2011 comes. In 2011, another joint family came to live there, with whom Arian might have interacted. This is the first family where no one knows who all the members are or what they are like. They were quite an introverted, conservative family that stayed in their rooms, didn't come out much, and didn't talk much. They were that type of family. But gradually, everyone found out that there were 2 boys in that family, one of whom was married. Arian was pretty sure that the other aunties in the chawl must have talked to these family members at least once. But Arian had never seen them at all, not even talking to anyone. But yes, it's impossible that in such a big chawl there's a family no one has talked to. Some aunties had obviously talked to them and mentioned that the family was very nice and helpful, which made everyone feel very happy and content. The people living with us are good, so it's great. We can all live comfortably. A few days pass, and everyone's life goes on normally. Now there was this big room, right? Alongside it, there was a very large gallery where the air was always fresh, and Arian and his friends used to sit there and pass the time. Because the air in that spot was the best, meaning it was fresh and clean from above, it became Arian's favorite place where he would comfortably spend his time. This spot was conveniently located just above his house. He would spend a little time there comfortably, that's how it is. So, one day Arian was coming back from school and had told his mom that he would sit there, relax for a while, get some fresh air, chat with his friends, and then come home. But then Arian's mom told him not to sit in that particular gallery today. Arian found it very strange. I sit here every day, so what's different today? So mom doesn't say anything. She says, let's go home. As we were making our way towards the stairs, I noticed for the first time that the big room where the family lived was completely closed. The door is locked, and all the windows are closed. They used to always be open, including the windows. So I asked my mom, well, what happened here? Everything is fine, so why is it closed? Mom doesn't tell me anything and just says, come on, let's go upstairs. As they are climbing the stairs, Arian's mom tells him something that leaves him stunned. Arian's mother mentioned that while you were at school today, the daughter-in-law who was in this room tragically committed suicide. I had told you that it has 4 windows and there is one window through which the balcony of the bungalow behind it was visible. So, once upon a time, the grandpa who lived in that bungalow came home at the same time and saw the daughter-in-law's body hanging from that very window. So, he quickly called the owner, who lived on the ground floor, dialed his number, and then informed the entire family. The whole family wasn't there at that time. Everyone was informed something had happened in their house, so they were asked to come quickly. In no time, the entire family arrived, and they were all in shock, trying to comprehend how someone could have committed suicide in their home, in their room. Everyone is in great shock. Everyone is crying, everyone is shocked, and the Chawl residents, especially Aryan, are even more astonished. Everyone is thinking about when the entire family last went out together. Where were they when the suicide happened? And this was the first time the gate was closed. What does that mean? I had already told you that the introverted family never went out. They always stayed in their room. Today everyone went out, and with all this happening, it was really unsettling and quite disturbing. All the aunties in the Chawl were absolutely terrified. Naturally, anyone would be scared by this kind of incident, and there were no men around at that particular time. Since it was daytime, all the men had gone to work as they usually did during the day. Aryan suggested to everyone that they should all go to the police station and inform the authorities about everything that had happened. Cutting him off abruptly, all the aunties immediately responded, No, we don't want to get involved with the police. We won't do all this. And to be completely honest, the landlord had become so old and frail that he was in no condition to make daily trips to the police station. No one talks about all this, so all the aunties are still with the families living in the room. It's just something that everyone seems to accept and move on with without much discussion. Then after some time, when everyone was about to leave, they asked when the girl's final rites would be performed. They said, Yo, not now, we will take care of it later on tonight. We have arranged for a van in which we will keep the body, and the van will go straight to the cemetery. Everyone knew that there was something very suspicious going on here. There was an unusual and strange silence in the Chawl, where there used to be the lively sounds of children playing, aunties talking, and occasional arguments while filling water. Today there was an eerie and complete silence. It felt as if no one was present in the Chawl anymore. The next morning comes. Everyone is up and doing their work. All the men are getting ready. Quickly all the aunties there are making food and such. The children are getting ready for school when suddenly news spreads throughout the Chawl. The thing is that the big room is completely and thoroughly clean from top to bottom. It means the whole family that was living there until last night has left, and the room is completely empty. Nothing is broken and nothing is left behind, as if no one was ever there in the first place. The entire family had completely disappeared overnight. The landlord makes an effort to call everyone. He attempts to reach out to each member individually, but unfortunately all their phones are switched off. For an entire week, no one goes into that room. It means that no one knows where the family went. And it takes everyone an entire week to come out of this shock, because it was extremely shocking for the entire Chawl. Someone had committed suicide, and suddenly the whole family disappeared. This sudden disappearance led everyone to suspect that maybe it wasn't a suicide after all. Something was definitely wrong, so processing all these things became very difficult for everyone involved, and it took the entire team a whole week to come out of it. The landlord has now locked the room and made the decision that he won't rent it out to anyone anymore. Well, the landlord's two younger sons, who were residing in Canada, had a plan in mind. Their intention was to demolish the existing Chawl and in its place construct two large bungalows. This was their vision for the property. So it was decided that the Chawl would be demolished, but when no one knew. However, when this incident occurred, the landlord made the decision that in the year 2014, which was 2 years after the incident, the entire Chawl would be demolished and two bungalows would be constructed in its place. This was a very sad moment for everyone, because they had spent their entire childhood in this Chawl, and suddenly they found out they could no longer live there. So it felt quite sad to everyone in some way or another. But there was something that was being kept from everyone. 2 months pass and now summer arrives. It was night time. All the aunties were sitting and chatting, and all the kids were playing hide and seek. Aryan was hiding in the gallery, the very same gallery near the room where he always spent about 20 to 30 minutes every day. He was hiding there in such a way that suddenly Aryan completely blacked out. He started feeling dizzy all of a sudden. Aryan began to sweat profusely. He started feeling cold even though it was summer. He was shivering a lot, trembling, and his vision was blurring every few seconds. Aryan felt like someone was whispering something in his ear. With great difficulty, Aryan managed to go downstairs. As he goes downstairs, he goes to his room. Everyone looks at him. Aryan was in very bad shape. Everyone catches him, and the aunties are there too. So everyone catches him and sits him down comfortably. Then Aryan tells everyone that this is how he felt. When everyone heard this, they were shocked and told Aryan not to worry. You sit comfortably here, let's take care of him a bit. As soon as Aryan feels a bit better, everyone advises him, if you feel like that, don't go upstairs. After doing that, and when everything is perfectly fine, everyone goes back to their homes. About 2 weeks after this incident, one night Aryan couldn't sleep, so he went to the kitchen to drink some water. Aryan was calmly drinking water in the kitchen when he started hearing voices again. A woman who was crying intensely and appeared to be in great pain, and these voices possibly were coming from that same room. As soon as Aryan heard what they were saying, he became very frightened. He runs to his mother and says, Mom, I'm hearing voices over there. I'm suddenly hearing voices and I don't understand what's happening. It's very frightening. Aryan's mother got up, went to the kitchen, and when she went to the kitchen, she didn't hear any voices. So Aryan's mother tells Aryan, you come along. She takes him to the room, gently strokes his forehead and head, and softly whispers to him in an attempt to put him to sleep. When Aryan starts feeling a little better, his mother takes the time to explain that it's not just him who feels something strange. Others have felt it too. I also heard those voices 3 days ago. So don't think that something unusual is happening to you. It's quite common. So don't take it to heart too much and don't think too much about it, okay? Aryan's mother explained everything and put him to sleep. A few months later, Aryan experienced a very peculiar and strange dream. In that dream, Aryan finds himself in a room where a group of people are torturing him. They're speaking in a language that Aryan can't quite comprehend, but from the sound of it, he thinks it might be Bengali. They were repeatedly hitting Aryan with a belt. Aryan couldn't even manage to scream because his throat was so hoarse. They were aggressively yanking on Aryan's hair, forcefully throwing him down onto the hard floor and beating him very badly and severely. Then Aryan saw 2 people, and those 2 people were none other than the very individuals who were living in that very room. Aryan remembered that the family was also a Bengali family. Aryan realized that this was the same Bengali family that was living in the room. Suddenly Aryan woke up. As he woke up, his dream shattered. Aryan starts crying very loudly. He was extremely scared and just kept crying all night long, unable to find any comfort or peace. Aryan's whole day is going strangely. When he went to class, he wasn't attentive at all. His mind was wandering somewhere else. When he came back to his room, he told his brother everything about the dream he had and how uneasy he was feeling. Aryan's brother tells him that he is not alone. I had this dream too, and there are many people like me who live in the Chawl who also had the same dream. It's quite common among us. Aryan called his entire group back together, and then Aryan discovers that there are several other kids in his group who had the same dream. They all eventually came to the understanding that the girl did not commit suicide. In reality, she had actually been tortured, and it was a brutal and heinous murder. Now another month passes by. All the families slowly started moving out of the Chawl because it was going to be demolished in 2014. Everyone knew this, so now only about 7 or 8 families were left in the whole Chawl. One night, there was a power cut. When the power went out, darkness was everywhere. So all the aunties are sitting around and chatting once again. All these friends have met. Everyone has become busy with their own groups. At that time, Aryan had a friend named Rupali. She tells them one thing, which was mentioned at the beginning, that the building is collapsing. But something was being hidden from them. Today, Rupali reveals what has been hidden all along. There was an uncle named Trilok who used to live in the Chawl. He was quite a drunkard and was known for his frequent drinking habits. He used to drink a lot and would come home drunk every single night. He had a pav bhaji business, so he would often come home late at night after partying with friends. On the day when the tragic suicide took place, the family mentioned that a van would arrive later that night to transport the body to the cemetery for burial. This was about that night, and it must have been around 2 or maybe 2:30 in the morning. Trilok uncle was coming in, having had his usual drink, relaxed and somewhat hungover, walking in a certain manner. They are going upstairs. So they notice that no van has arrived yet, and there is absolutely nothing at all happening downstairs. So the entire family, they're all busy packing up their things, and there's this really huge suitcase. There are 2 suitcases. They are carrying the larger one and continuously holding on to it, making sure it doesn't slip away. First of all, the gloves are black and somewhat strange, and only those who have caught something are wearing them, no one else. And they keep spraying something on it repeatedly, some weird spray, and they keep cleaning it over and over again. People look at them strangely, but they're in their own world, so no one asks much about it. They start heading towards their room when something unexpected happens. In the morning, they find out that something happened here and a family committed suicide. Then Uncle Trilok tells all the men gathered there that he personally witnessed all of this during the night. He goes on to explain that the landlord is fully aware of the situation, and all the important men present are also in the know about it. They kept this thing hidden from everyone for a long time. Rupali's father is one of those few people who knows about it, and he eventually tells Rupali, cautioning her not to tell anyone else. However, today Rupali decides to tell everyone in her group, including all her friends. As a result, everyone in the group comes to understand that all the important people already knew it was a murder. The following day, it was discovered that it was not a suicide after all. This is a murder, and perhaps that's the reason why this chawl is falling apart. After all, no one would want a murder or something like that to happen in their chawl, would they? I mean, no one can live there where all this has already happened. So now Aryan finally discovers these things, but since many months have already passed, there is nothing that anyone can do about it anymore. Now, in the span of 3 or 4 months, Aryan and his family are also planning to leave. So during these 3 or 4 months, Aryan and his brothers spend a lot of time in regret, constantly thinking that maybe they could have done something different. They ponder whether they could have complained, informed the police, or taken some kind of action. But they are not just roaming around freely. Whoever did all this is roaming around freely today. That's the reason why the girl's spirit is still trapped here somewhere in this place. That's the reason why we hear those voices coming from the gallery. We still hear her screams, her painful cries, and her heart-wrenching sobs. We all have our own dreams. Somewhere deep down inside, the girl still seeks justice, and just thinking about this makes Aryan feel even worse than before. Finally, after a period of 2 months has passed, Aryan decides to move out with his family. About 2 or 3 months after that, the chawl completely collapses. Well, as of today, the landlord is no more. He has also passed away. However, where the old chawl once stood, there are now 2 large and impressive bungalows. These bungalows are named after the old chawl, and they are where the landlord's 2 sons now live. It's been about 10 years, yet even today, Aryan can't forget these events. Even today, he occasionally finds himself remembering that there were many things he could have done right in the past, because of which perhaps that soul could find peace, and because of which perhaps those people could be caught. But they didn't do anything, and Aryan regrets it to this day. Aryan still gets scared whenever he thinks about all those things that happened. He regrets it deeply and just prays that the soul of the girl who was trapped there finds peace and is happy wherever she is now. He often finds himself lost in thoughts, hoping that she has found the tranquility she deserves. And there is a short message that Aryan shared with us, so I will read it out to you exactly. I would like to ask everyone to listen to this. If something wrong is happening around you or to anyone, please speak up. Show the courage that we couldn't. I firmly believe that when you show courage and take bold steps, God will grant you even more strength and resilience. Otherwise, you might end up living with regret for the rest of your life, just like we are experiencing now. Thank you. So that was the story that Aryan shared with all of us here today. I am quite sure that you all will join me in praying that wherever that soul is, she is happy and has found peace and liberation. That's all there is to it. I really hope you guys like the story. And yes, once again, please never forget Aryan's message. If anything like this happens around you, please make sure to show courage and take action. That was a really nice message from Aryan. Thank you so much, Aryan, for sharing this story with us. Until next time, guys, bye-bye for now, and please make sure to take good care of yourselves. See you all very soon.